Welcome to yet another episode of the Dream Jobber TV. I'm Victor and I'm here to help ambitious people like you to get started with self-employment online as a freelancer. In this episode, I want to share my story of how I get started to show you how you can do it too. A couple of years ago when I had gotten my first job, about the only thing I did was to wait for the weekends. You see, I was excited to work, but it wasn't fun and I felt very limited by it. So I just waited for weekends to enjoy living my life. And obviously, it felt really bad because all my life I have been taught that if I stay in school, I will get an interesting career, financial security, but no matter what I studied, none of the career paths I would end up in really motivated me. So I felt unmotivated. I felt pretty, not depressed, but really down, I would say. And it wasn't fun. I felt that, work sucks. And I just thought that I had to accept it. You see, I was searching for this dream career. I wanted to have a job where I really was enjoying what I was doing and where work didn't feel like work and I could have time and lifestyle freedom. That was the thing. Because I was following influencers on social media who were living the laptop life. You know, they travel the world, travel influencers who had the laptop, they had their job, and they seemed to have all this freedom that I wanted. And then I followed many business owners who built their businesses and big brands while traveling the world and really being the bosses of their own schedule. So that was obviously very motivating for me, and that was something that I wanted. So back then I wasn't really happy with the current situation I had, and I was just longing for that day when I have enough time to sit down, figure out what they are doing that I'm not. And for a long time I felt that that's just the way it has to be. Like I have to wait until that day in my life when I can sit down with a cup of coffee and I can really chill, relax and figure out how to do this career thing. But the days, the months and weeks and everything just went by and time passed by and I was constantly busy. Like I was busy studying, I was busy working at my part-time job. I even worked out and I had a lot of long walks with my dog Capri that obviously needed to be done. He was a puppy back then, so we needed to teach him kind of how to go longer walks and really all that kind of stuff. So it took a lot of time and I was constantly busy and I felt that nothing is really happening. Like it's not gonna go any better. What happens when we have a family and blah blah blah, everything like career, more jobs and more responsibility? Like what happens then? Like am I gonna have more time? Obviously not. So I felt that it's never gonna be a time in my life where I can just sit down, chillax and figure out how to do the career thing. And that was in the middle of all of this. I attended a couple of coaching calls and it's actually a long story short. I realized that the perfect time to make a change in your career will never come unless you create it. And I realized that every second we have, every minute we have is our choice. Like what we put into our time, what we prioritize in our days is what our life ends up being. Like that's what it is. We can prioritize the things. And most of the time when you don't have time to do something, when you say that I don't have time to do this, it actually just means that it's not a priority. And that's what I realized because at that time I was super busy. And then one day I came home, Capri, our dog, he had ate a couple headphones. And I was so stressed because of this because no, it's Capri drinking. Drinking water. So I came home and he had eaten a couple of headphones. And on our table in the living room, we had put both our headphones, both Anni and I, before we went out. And when I came back home, I realized that there's no headphones on the table. And I felt my pair of headphones on the couch in small pieces. And I got super stressed. Obviously not just because my headphones were broken, but because where were the other pair of headphones? I had no clue where the other pair of headphones was, except that I knew that my puppy had eaten half of my headphones. So of course I started to think the worst possible. I started to think that okay, he has eaten Anni's headphones and he has them in his stomach. They are like sharp plastic and everything, and I got stressed out. I called the vet, and that week I ended up being, actually Anni as well, we both ended up being at the veterinary clinic for at least 7 hours, maybe 7-8 hours. And if somebody would have asked us a couple of days earlier if we have 7 extra hours that week, obviously the answer would have been no. Of course we don't have that. Like we were super busy. We would not have had 7 extra hours to figure out business. We would not have 7 extra hours to work out. Like we were super busy. But just because it was important enough, like our little baby, Capri, our puppy, golden retriever, I think he was just a couple months back then, like 6 months or something. And just the stress and everything that we felt, like we found the time. Like it was not about making more time, it was just about prioritizing differently. So that was what made the biggest change in my career, that I decided that hey, the perfect time, or I realized that the perfect time will never come unless I create it. So I just decided to take matters into my own hands and prioritize my schedule differently. So what I started to do was that I started to wake up earlier, so I get to work on my dreams and my stuff a couple hours before the day started. And then I switched the late night TV episodes and YouTube vlogs to another hour of focus on my dreams. And this is the thing, like just that I prioritized these things started to happen. Obviously not right away, it took some time. Because I felt I almost tried everything. Like I tried all these different opportunities. I tried network marketing, affiliate marketing. I looked into investing, cryptocurrency, and all these kind of crazy things. But nothing of that worked for me. And that's a long story. I would love to go into all the parts. But like starting out with investing money that you don't have, it's not a good idea. And if you're going to build a team, it's going to take time. And selling affiliate products and getting like a couple of euros per product you sell, you need thousands of people to replace your income. So it's not the way to get started. But then there was this one day when I kind of stumbled upon the opportunity that finally worked, and which obviously was freelancing. But what happened was that I was scrolling on social media and I found this one post about the guy complaining about, hey, I can't edit my images on Photoshop. And I started to think like, oh, okay, maybe I can help him. So I reached out and I said that, hey, I can help you. Like, let's try. And we jumped on a video call and on a Zoom call and shared screens. And in 20 minutes, I was able to help him edit the images. And he was amazed about it. And because he had spent many hours on struggling with Photoshop. And just because I had downloaded Anni's student version of Photoshop like 2 weeks earlier, just to try some cool stuff for my Instagram, I knew how to edit and remove the background and stuff like this. And I could help him with that. That was the problem he had. So it was kind of a coincidence. I stumbled upon this opportunity and I was able to help this business owner. But right before we ended that 20-30 minute call, he said something that changed my life and my career forever. He said, Victor, you're an expert. That was cool. But what he said next changed everything. He said that I want to pay you for this. I'm sending you $100. And that was so cool because that was the moment when I realized that, oh, this is a thing. Like, I can get paid for skills that I have by helping other business owners to solve their problems. And that was when I realized that freelancing online is a thing. I realized that you can sell services. And obviously it was cool that he called me an expert, but I knew two tools in Photoshop. So I wasn't an expert. So it was a great ego boost and it was fun. But the fact that he sent me $100 was amazing because I realized that it's possible. $100 didn't change my life back then, but the realization that you can actually make a living, or you can actually not make a living, because I didn't understand that back then. That was later when I started to get more success. I understood that you can make a living doing this kind of stuff because there's so much work opportunities. But back then I realized that, hey, you can get your own work opportunities. You don't have to be employed to get this kind of, you can get money by selling your skills online. So what I ended up doing was that I set a plan. I wanted to get more of these work opportunities. So I set a plan for myself and decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get more of these people. Obviously, it was a lot of trial and error. It wasn't that easy. I spent so many hours, days and weeks on this stuff to figure out like how to get it. But eventually, after struggling emotionally and financially for a while, I figured out the system and I figured out how to make this work and how to get more of these work opportunities than I needed. And that is what changed everything. That is why I've been able to have my 20,000 euro months by working just 4 hours a day, doing that kind of stuff. And when I say that, it might sound like, hey, is that even possible? But I'm telling you that when you work as a freelancer and you sell projects and your skills to busy business owners online, it's never going to be about selling your time as you do as an employee. It's about solving problems and providing value. And that's when you can get paid this amount of money for not actually working that many hours. If a business owner don't know how to do it, they just need to get it done. Obviously, they're going to pay quite well for it to get that done. And if you do the right thing for them, obviously, you're going to get a great amount of money for it. And if you're done that a couple times, you get a flow and it doesn't have to take long. So I realized that this was possible, and just being able to work like this for the last couple of years has enabled us to move to Spain. We lived in Spain for the last year and a half for the winters, which has been like amazing. I've always dreamed of having a life where I can be in Finland on the summer, spend my days in the archipelago, have my work with me, and then the winters when it's rainy and not so nice in Finland, I can be in Spain, have the sun and have summer all year long. Like, that's always been my dream. So just being able to do this kind of stuff during the last couple of years has made like all it meant everything to me. Like, just being able to do that, having that kind of freedom. So that's pretty much what happened, how I went from just having a lot of questions in my head, how to get started, to actually trying out a bunch of stuff, failing, figuring out what thing that actually worked, and realizing that freelancing is the only way to get a predictable income and get income that can help you to replace your current 9-to-5 income. Going all of that journey and then figuring out how to do this full-time, working part-time, as I call it. So if you found this inspiring, if you found it interesting to hear my story and you would like to know how this could apply to you and how you could make this happen, please give a like to this video and make sure to follow the channel for more content like this, so that we can continue creating more content like this, so you can get ideas and you can get advice on how to make this happen in your life. So thank you so much for watching. Tag your friends who you think should hear this and you would like to do freelancing together with. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.